Today I'm going to demonstrate how to go through the process of creating your 3D letters. Materials you will need for this project are your sketchbook. You will need a pencil and an eraser, colored pencils or markers. You will need a pair of scissors. You will also need a cereal box. You'll most likely get a front and back to a cereal box, but as long as they match and are roughly the same size, they'll work. You will use some edging pieces. We're just using some tag board cut into 2-inch strips. And you will need some masking tape. We're just using a regular 1-inch masking tape. The first thing you're gonna do with your letters is choose what letter you want to use. I'm gonna create the letter B for this example. And any letter that you choose, I want you to think about using your initials. So either the first letter of your first name, first letter of your middle name or last name. You could even combine letters like you saw with the word art. If you'd like to do that, if you'd like to challenge yourself, definitely can combine. Main thing to think about as you start your sketch is that we need to keep our letters to a size of 7.5 inches by 11 inches. Many cereal boxes that we use are not going to be any larger than that. Many are actually going to be smaller, so your letters should be within that 7.5 by 11 inches. Once you have your letter drawn, you want to make sure also that you are using a block or bubble style letter, and make sure that the letter is nice and wide. Because we're making this out of cardboard, we want to make sure that it's nice and strong. Once you have it drawn, you're going to add a design. You can either add a pattern or a design with lines, shapes, colors. You can write your name in a unique font. So I could write Bordelon, for example, along the side here if I'd like. Or you can decorate your letter with personal symbols, objects or images that identify who you are as a unique individual. After you have that done in your sketchbook, you are going to use colored pencil or marker to add color to your drawing. So here I've got an example that has had color added. I've used colored pencil here. You can outline with Sharpie if you'd like. You do not have to. Once you have the sketch colored, you are going to cut out your letter. And this needs to be cut very cleanly and nice and sharp edges, because you will use your cut letter for a template. This is what you're going to trace on your cardboard. Be sure to cut the center part of your letter if you have that, like the letter B, for example. You want to make sure that you get those center pieces cut as well. Okay. Once you have the letters cut, you will move on to adding them to your cardboard. Okay, once you have your sketch cut out and ready to go, you are going to get a cereal box. And you will get the front and back of a cereal box if they match. If not, you just want the same size pieces. And on one of them, you are going to trace your letter. So I've already done that on this one, and I've just traced the letter on the cardboard side, the raw cardboard. That side has no print on it. That's very important. You want to try to have the raw cardboard sides on the outside of your letter, because the paint that we use will stick better to this side. So I've got that traced there. That one is done. The second letter that you trace, you're actually going to trace on the printed side, because this is going to become the back of your 3D letter. So I'll show you this process here. When you're tracing onto the front or the printed side of the cereal box, it is important to use Sharpie instead of pencil or any other type of ink. Sharpie dries really fast, it's permanent, and you'll be able to see it really well, so when you need to cut this one out, you won't have a problem finding your lines. So you're going to trace all the way around your letter. Again, using this drawing that you've created as a template. Okay, and then the next step is going to be to cut these letters, both of these letters, out of your cardboard. In order to do the center pieces here, if you have the center of an O or an A or a B like this, you can use, or I will use the X-Acto blade to help you with that. So you can ask the teacher that is here, if it's not me, to help you cut out the centers. Now that you have your cardboard letters cut out, again, one that is on the raw side of the cardboard and one that has been cut out from the printed side of the cardboard. And that is what is going to create your front and back. And you can kind of match them up. They do not have to be exactly the same. Chances are you're going to have little pieces on the edge that overlap. That's not going to be a problem. If you do end up with larger gaps, you can trim it with scissors or ask for help with using the X-Acto blade. So what we've done now, once we match them, you can double check that the back is raw cardboard and the front is raw cardboard. So every piece of cardboard that has any ink on it is going to be on the inside. Okay, now we're ready to start building. So you will need some edging pieces. Again, we're using the tag board pieces that have been cut to 2 inches and some masking tape. The masking tape you can cut ahead of time, and some students like to have the tape cut with scissors if you'd like the straighter edge look. So if you want, you can cut about 2-inch strips or so, 2.5 inches like this, and then just kind of line them around your table in your area, because you will need quite a few. If you prefer though, you can just tear the tape as well if you don't mind that torn edge. It's really up to you and what you prefer. So I'm going to get a few pieces of tape torn just so I can show you how to begin this part of the building process. Once you have some tape ready, we are going to begin building the edge of the letter that you have chosen. Right now, I am working on the back piece because the printed side is facing up. So any edging pieces that I add will have to be taped on the back of this. So I'm going to turn this over so that you can see. And right now, because I'm working on the straight edge, I can just lay these 2 pieces flat and start taping across. You don't want to tape by just putting a piece of tape lengthwise like this, because it's not going to be strong enough in the end. The more tape that you use with this particular project, the stronger it's going to become. So the tape really does take on some of the strength. And then, as you can see, as I've done here, I'm overlapping these pieces of tape that I'm adding. So as I continue to add tape, and the reason that I can lay this flat, since it has a straight edge, is that I can then lift this up and fold it. So you can see here that there's my back piece, there's my edge, and then this is what it's going to look like once we have it all put together. So you're going to keep going around. I'm I'm going to add a few more pieces here and then I'll show you how to work around the corner. Okay, so we're going to pretend that I have this all taped at the bottom, and we're going to look right now at this top corner. So I have a corner piece right here, the top of the B. Anytime you have a corner, you want to make sure that you fold that edging piece, that tag board, and crease it all the way across. So I've got this folded here, and I am going to make sure it's lined up as even as we can get the tag board and crease it all the way across. So now I've got this fold here, and it will match up very closely to the edge of the cardboard. So now this one is ready to be taped. I have a few more pieces here. You'll also notice that at the top where I have folded this piece, it's now, when I tape this on, this is now becoming a 3D object, something that takes up space. It no longer lays flat because it has depth. We also will notice that I've now run out of tag board up at the top. So you will grab a second sheet of tag board, second piece of your edging, and overlap. So you can see here that I'm not trying to set this up right on the edge. I'm going to overlap that a little bit, and that will help with your strength of your letter as well. And then you just want to make sure that you get a piece of tape. Move this up so you can see it. You want to make sure that you get a piece of tape connecting those two pieces together. So I'll do that here and show you what that looks like. So now I've got these two edging pieces taped together so that they will stay strong. And you can put a couple of pieces of tape there. Don't go easy on the tape. We want to use a lot of it so our letters are nice and strong. So now I'm going to start on the curve of my letter. And to do that, we're just going to add the tape. A little bit of the tape goes on the edging piece, a little bit of the tape goes onto the cardboard. And again, we are overlapping so that we don't have any spaces between the tag board and the cardboard showing. So you will continue taping all the way around your letter, folding at every corner. So I will need to fold my tag board here where the B turns when we go from from the top of the B to the bottom of the B, and I will need to fold my edging piece here at the next corner and start my third edging piece. Some of you will be able to create your letters with 2 edging pieces. Some of you will need 3, 4, maybe 5, depending on how big your letters are or how many letters you have.